edge, you could double jump onto the platform, you could just set up a general aerial wall.
Okay. Kalvar is also amazing at power shooting.
Yeah, #1 power shooter in New England.
Ooh, reads the jump there. So this is a weird scenario. A little too high to get the immediate down air. Lands very well. That air dodge is really smart.
Yeah, that could have been deadly if he catches that grab.
So that's one thing, that scenario where Wally just immediately down smashes, that's going to be super important. We saw there that Kalvar kind of waited and took a second, but throughout the set, is Kalvar going to consistently be that patient? That's one of the really make or break things.
That tipper, very nice spacing with the tipper.
This is an interesting stage to strike to. You wouldn't necessarily think Marth Peach of being like, oh, I want to go Dreamland, and usually this would be the Peach's initial counter pick, but I actually don't mind this for how Kalvar plays. He's really comfortable off tech chasing, that's kind of his bread and butter go-to, and especially on this stage where it's such a large flat bottom, it's kind of easy for him to go for the tech chases with Marth.
Yeah, so the thing about Kalvar is he has always been his thing is, oh wow, Stitch this early on, but Kalvar's thing has always been, I'm just going to keep you an arm distance away, even if you're at 200%. If I can hit you with a forward air, a spaced forward air, and you can't hit me, then I don't care.
He is not a stranger to the John Hancock forward or up air, up throw off the top. Kalvar has killed many a Peach at 200% off an up throw.
He relishes that,
It's his favorite thing in the world. That's a New England Melee classic.
Oh my god, another Stitch?
Another Stitch. It's one of those things you get it when you need them.
Yeah, and I think with this matchup, it's one of the more likely ones to see Stitches just because the reliance on turn and pull.
Ooh, comes down lazy with the forward air. Kalvar is willing to wait and outspace that. He's actually super comfortable with Peach's spacing off the falling down. That's one of the really important things in this matchup. And since he's pretty experienced in it, he's gonna be willing to just dash dance and come in with punish it. So this lead, how far he can stretch it with this stock, is super important. Because in this matchup, Peach can trade and trade and trade, and especially on Dreamland, Peach can be living upwards to 100 and even 200% sometimes. You need to kind of be aware that if you don't end stocks in the 90 to 110 range, Peach is going to be living a lot more. And a lot of people like to call it Marthritis. I think it's more of a move choice. And while Kalvar is content on just taking damage and farming for the guaranteed kill, yeah. I think that it's kind of important that he goes for the big tippers or goes for the forward or downer when he can, mix-ups like that.
Yeah, and it seems like he's no stranger to these forward smash at these early percents to set up his edge guards.
Yeah, he's super confident on calling out the Peach's jump, and while he's not 100% on getting them, the punishes, he takes a nair and he DIs it out and he resets back to neutral. So at low percentage, the way he sees it is that the risk is not really an issue, the reward is way more.
Alright, down throw. Off the stage. Can't keep him out with back airs.
He's gonna down throw. Oh, that's the mix-up, is that you can down throw, and you could either go for an up air or a back air, or you could forward throw. Or it's kind of iffy with the forward throw, but if they hold in, you can hit them. Kalvar getting a little antsy, trying to swat the fly, but it doesn't matter. Crouch cancel left smash is gonna end it. So you're noticing versus Marth, he can't really get away with these down smashes. He's gonna, on shield, of course he's gonna do it, in the close quarters, but Kalvar's doing a really good job staying out of the range where it's effective, and kind of Wally's accepting that and not going for them as often.
Yeah, getting absolutely minimal mileage against this Marth on the down smash. Let's see where he's at.
Ooh, tries to space it. Good job. So it's one of those things where Kalvar's willing to give him space there. He knows that Wally's the type of player to overextend, so he's gonna give him space and let him play his game because he is confident in his dash back. Gets the edge guard there. So this seems really bad for Peach, but since she's at 107, Marth doesn't necessarily have an easy way of killing her. He can call her out for jumping, call her out for landing, but beyond that, with an F smash, there's not really a lot of, oh, this is what he should do to kill now.
Yeah. Jab doesn't link into anything like it does with Fogs.
Yeah, and it's not quite in the forward tilt up air percent. He could forward tilt grab if they hold in. I think now at 150, forward tilt up air, or up tilt will kill, or forward tilt up air, both those are viable options. Smooth the hack slash, gets the nair, resets. Kalvar is really willing to just reset. He doesn't mind. He is confident in his ability to outplay him and just continuously get the neutral opening, so he's willing to do this. He's going to go for the forward throw here. goes for the immediate drop-off to catch the low recovery, and then returns the stage to cover the high. I think Kalvar is really good about understanding the risk-reward of when he goes off stage. You don't often see him over-committing with like a full drift fair or like trying to read a jump. He's always just, he covers a low option, then returns, and waits for the landing.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important in this matchup.
Yeah, he's very patient. He's not... He almost doesn't mix up, but it's just like the safest option.
He doesn't even need to, though, at a certain extent. Like, he's playing such a strong neutral game, and that he's so confident in his options and so consistent with it that he can just kind of he can play his game and win.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is Wally trying to change the pace a little bit. He's seeing a lot more down smashes. He's being a lot more swingy, like a lot more dash attacks, and just kind of going for it with nairs. Like, that's kind of him feeling it out. I think that Game 2, while not the most ideal place to feel it out, if you do want to win this set, considering how one-sided that neutral was on the first game, you do need to kind of mix up what you're doing, and I respect Wally for going for it. Ooh, nice jump. He holds in to get hit by the second hit there, so he doesn't go off stage and goes the other direction. I remember talking to Kalvar about that, and that he's super specific about, he holds down for a little bit, then immediately flicks up so he doesn't get hit by more than one. He gets hit by the first and not the second.
Yeah, and what that does is you get hit by the first one, which sends you where the Peach wants to send you, and then you get sucked in and it sends you in the complete opposite direction. And that's why down smash is an unreliable edgeguard tool. That's why you see the drift through nair. I don't know if that works on Marth like it does on Sheik.
So I think Wally's starting to get the read there. He understands that Kalvar isn't the most adaptable in what he's doing currently, and while Kalvar is capable of doing it, he showed through game 1 that he's willing to just take it slow and play his game and like kind of ice him out in that sense. But Wally's kind of getting used to the timings. He's getting used to Kalvar's spacing where he wants to stand, and since Kalvar's kind of being stubborn in what he's picking for options, it's kind of easy for Wally to kind of run away with this lead.
Yeah, for sure. He's been reading the jump timings, I think, is the big one. Because Marth doesn't have active hitboxes, you know? Obviously, he's got good long-range disjointed hitboxes, but they don't last for long. So when he's able to contest and he's able to get these trades, he's getting really good mileage out of it because then it's got that second layer of he's not getting the punish that he wants because he's trading.
Oh, Peach in a really bad spot. Doesn't get too punished off it. Takes a 23%, in disadvantage in the corner, rolls out. So, one thing I'm noticing about this game that's a little different than the other one, Kalvar is not getting these tech chases. So, whereas before, Wally would try to nair out immediately off teching or missing a tech to slide off, Wally's now just holding shield, and since Kalvar is content on just swinging with a forward air, he's just kind of taking the block and then resetting.
Yeah, it's an on-shield as opposed to a true combination.
And I think Kalvar, if he adapts, maybe throws in one more dash back, he can kind of option select down tilt to cover the jump out of shield or the retreat, or he can go for immediate run-up grab. So I think if Kalvar kind of mixes in a few more options there, he'll gain the upper hand in that scenario. It's just, he's being really stubborn with his options currently.
So good. Kalvar just hit him, and he hit him so long ago, and he just kept it going and kept it going, kept the juggle going. And
Kalvar's amazing at sharking people. That's one of like the strongest aspects of his play, is that he's so comfortable. I was talking about it in the warmer set where he just would overcommit, warmer would overcommit and try to read it. Kalvar's content on letting you fall in and put yourself in a scenario where he knows what to do. He's kind of studied the options and he knows what Peach can do while retreating downwards, and he's kind of willing to just let Peach fall into his arms. Ooh, nice DI out on that, not going for the immediate combo. Wally a little lazy on the retreat. He's going for this air dodge, and while it is a good mix-up, he's doing it every single time now, and Kalvar's starting to get a hang of it. Ooh, catches the jump there.
Wow.
That's a big 70%. Shout out to 69.
Oh, rip turn. No, that was really good from Wally because Kalvar was doing a drift that allowed him to platform tech chase, but it also put him in danger of getting hit by a down smash. And so he recognized that, he got the good confirmation on it.
Kalvar got a little antsy there. He was spamming down to trying to cover the drift the ledge. I think he needs to slow down. He showed he's willing to be patient in other aspects. It's just on the edge guards, he's a little bit... He was overcommitting there where he wasn't game 1.
Yeah.
It's just small little moments where like, you know you're losing, and you're like, I need to change things up. And even though things were working before, he's not losing because the things he was doing game 1 that he's changing in game 2. He's losing because Peach is adapting, and he needs to kind of go a level deeper in the neutral.
Yeah, and it's not... it's not in that particular instance where you need to switch things up. You just need to, in general, recognize that the neutral has changed and kind of clean up that a little bit.
But Kalvar, like, although I do think that he is being stubborn in some spots, he is being mildly adaptable. He just kind of, the way he plays Marth isn't very conventional, so his toolbox may be a little more limited, where he's not going for the quote-unquote optimal option. So because of that, Wally can kind of take advantage and go for the things that the normal meta option would abuse, but since he's not going for it, he can kind of just get away with it. Nice coverage there. Reads the second placement is a little bit early. So Wally always spot dodges after a whiffed attack, if you notice. I think that Kalvar just needs to be comfortable with it and wait an F smash or dash dance back grab. I think Kalvar's trying to swing it, and that's not how you beat.
Well, it's hard because, like, Wally's doing a pretty good job of mixing up between down smashing after the aerial or jabbing after the aerial or grabbing after the aerial, you know. He's doing a pretty good job at not making it easy for Kalvar to know what he's doing.
And I think one thing that's super important in the start from him off, but him pulling the turnips, he, game 2, stopped pulling them. And if you look at this game, he's pulling them, but only when he has clear advantage or if he's in a spot where Kalvar can't even touch him. He's not even risking it anymore because he knows that Kalvar is really strong and punishing him in that range where you can kind of like, it's ambiguous whether he's going to hit him or not. He's kind of confirmed that Kalvar's going to hit me if I pull in that range, so he's just not even bothering. And he's getting a lot more violent, and he's not really getting chipped off in neutral for a forward air or down tilt every time he pulls. Clean guard there. 6% literally means nothing. This is an even game currently. So him running off stage, avoiding the invincibility. The DI on the forward air was a little questionable, but he gets back on stage fine. Reads the dash attack. Too low percent, gets a crouch cancel there. Ooh, he knew he was going to roll up there, but he was a little bit wrong in the spacing there. So Kalvar is, again with the spacing, he's just not, he doesn't necessarily feel comfortable right now. I feel like this isn't peak Kalvar. He's kind of, with his timings and his spacings. His
opponent's playing the game.
Yeah. Like, with his timings and spacings, like, he's not getting what he expects from his opponent, and because of that, he's not really hitting his bread and butters and what you would expect. Ooh, that was super smart. Wally is getting a lot of value off these dash attacks. I feel like Kalvar's not really respecting the space that he's holding. When Kalvar is sitting there forward airing or dash dancing, he's kind of expecting Wally to retreat, and Wally's kind of mixing him up by just running in and dash attacking, and he's gotten hit for it most times. Catches the float there. Oh, no.
Yeah, Kalvar kept that sequence going forever, and he's still keeping it going.
Alright, so Peach can land on stage. He waits and lets Peach fall into his arms. Up throw. Gets the John Hancock. Shout out to Melee. That's Boston Melee 2014. Shout outs to Makari. I think he coined that term.
Yeah, Makari's sick.
Ooh.
You see his hand, dude?
Ooh,
all
gnarly, bro. Ooh, while we're talking about it, Kalvar's giving him the hands right now. It's a quick sequence, catches his jump, gets a little overcommittal, gets a little cute with the side B, but...
Oh, and he holds in. Wow. Punishing that down smash all the way up to 150.
And I've noticed that Kalvar's not really catching on to Wally's habits in the sense like his tech rolls or any of that. Like, while it's not something you would necessarily think of, Kalvar's good at tech chasing, and he's never really trying to like learn Wally's patterns in that sense. He's just kind of swinging.
Yeah, no. Kalvar's the ultimate example of like, I'm just going to play my neutral and play it 20 times in a row until he's at 200%.
And honestly, like, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Wally. Like, coming into this, I watched him versus Joy Boy, and I'm like, oh, he's swinging, he's down smashing. But like, even now, he's showing that he's adaptable, and he's showing that there's more to him than just throwing out things.
Yeah, I actually had like completely negative respect for Wally coming into this because I played him Peach Sheet, and he was just completely suboptimal in doing his things, but his adaptability and his neutral game is actually pretty crazy, so.
Yeah, no, his neutral game is like, I'm blown away, to be completely honest. And although Kalvar is being stubborn in his option selects, like, him taking advantage of it is nothing to scoff at. Like, at the end of the day, you're doing what it takes to win, and even though it's like, oh, the other person's kind of digging their own grave, like, he's willing to put the dirt over the grave, pat it down, put the gravestone, like, he'll take the dub.
Yeah.
Oh, bomb! He threw away Mr. Saturn, though. I don't know how I feel about that. You got to keep the homie on stage. Ooh, reads the drifting with the forward air. So Wally can totally do this. He's at that range where there's no real confirms. Forward air doesn't go into down air. There's no side B, G, like jazz. It's completely just hit, or Marth gets a tipper. So Kalvar's going to choose to swing here, gets 2 big forward airs, doesn't let Peach down. So, ooh, overcommits.
I'm surprised he didn't up air that.
Oh, not a tipper though.
Not a tipper.
Not a big one.
But we're gonna see the rinse repeat happening.
Yo, my man Ghetto War Machine over here. What's up, dude? I'm chilling. How you been?
I just wanted to see who was coming.
Hop on.
今日も生き延びることができた。
Alright, Kalvar takes the game. Super crazy.
Yeah.
So
we're not running it back. We're not going to FD.
Kalvar on FD is kind of scary though. While in the spacey matchup is not as volatile, like he is super good at like sharking people, and that comes really into play on that stage. Big F smash there. So Kalvar's kind of changing it up. He's being a little bit more aggressive with approaching aerials, but it's not necessarily the same cookie cutter fare that he was doing in the earlier games. He's throwing in some down airs, he's throwing in some nairs, and I feel like that timing mix-up is going to be super crucial in beating Wally in neutral here.
Kalvar's doing such a good job at putting himself in the air at a position where he can cover Peach's landing. And he's not necessarily in a position where Peach can trade either.
Super fast with the FC from there. I think that was a great coverage there. Super low risk. I think that Wally is kind of getting a little antsy there on the retreating, and Kalvar is kind of respecting him too much to the point. We noticed earlier he was respecting him and then punishing, but now he's kind of giving Wally too much space. Like, he's letting him hit the ground, and at that point you're losing the advantage you have for someone falling on top of you.
Because when they hit the ground, they get their double jump back, they get their float back. Generally, it's just, you know, you feel safer when you're on the ground.
Ooh, rough spot. Smart air dodge on, since weights and shield. That's the good thing to do. Kalvar was waiting for him to jump to call him out with forward air F smash. Ooh, holds in.
Nice.
Nice in the last hit, he holds out. Ooh, Kalvar was ready for it. See, this is what I was talking about earlier where Kalvar was kind of being stubborn and swinging. If you notice from last game, he's kind of a lot more confident now, and he's willing to go for these roll reads. Like, while reading someone rolling in from the corner isn't groundbreaking, and it's a basic option, like, him showing that he's willing to go for it is kind of...
In game 4.
Yeah, it's good news. Kalvar's kind of gaining his footing back, even though game 1 was convincing, but game 2 was kind of shaky. Catches the jump. Wally's really good about his DI. His combo DI is fantastic. While he did get caught out with like a few forward airs, every single time he gets like forward beat, he never gets followed up on. Where you see most Peaches get forward B up air, forward B up tilt. Like that's a pretty consistent thing for Marth because it catches the Peach floating out, and Wally's really good about resetting his stick so he doesn't get caught out for that.
Alright, so this is a very difficult position for Peach to be in. Obviously, a character built around trades, doesn't have the greatest range on her aerials, so...
Ooh, dash attack on shield, that's not safe, unfortunately. Reads the crouch cancel with the F smash there. I think it's one of those things where it's like, even like thinking about the matchup, it's like, you want to talk about like what Wally's doing, but Kalvar is so in control in the neutral game compared to the other game, game 2. Game 1, game 3, and game 4 right now. He's just so much more in the driver's seat, and it's kind of hard to like, Wally's kind of getting like called out glass jawed in a way where like Wally isn't ready for this. Like Kalvar's kind of bringing a new heat that he was not ready for.
Sorry, Wally took those forward airs really well across the entire stage. Like, what do you want to do?
You mess up once, it happens. I respect the Wally stands in chat though. You gotta root for your boy.
Yeah, New Jersey's the 18th best state.
The trash can of the United States.
The 18th best, like, and it's not because it's good, it's just like all the ones under it. We probably have like 20 good states. Okay, gets him off stage.
Ooh.
No resources, still
That's
makes
a
it
little
back.
cheeky there. Catch the jump.
Yeah, only gets a 2-hit conversion.
Yeah.
Can't really finish the edge guard.
Kalvar was really smart there with the early up B, kind of calling Wally out. He's like, Wally's going to try to read his jump there, and that early up B completely nullifies that edge guard sequence and redoes everything. Ooh, nice dash attack there. Ooh, that platform cancel was amazing with that nair and put him in a great scenario. Kalvar was just ready with the shield drop. Catches him sharking. I feel like that was kind of the make or break moment in the set where Wally was getting really complacent with just coming down with full fastball or an air dodge. And I think that even though Peach does have pretty good aerial drift, Kalvar is pretty confident on his spacing, and Marth's up air is so large that even if he's like slightly off, it's gonna hit him no matter what.